Good morning. Shalom Aleichem. So it's a very special day today. We have the sun is out, Baruch Hashem, and if you ask why is this day, Ma nishtana hayom hazeh mikol hayamim? Why is this day different than all other days? I'll tell you the following story. A man who was in prison was granted one day to get out, to see his family, to see his friends, to just get out of the prison walls. And it's quite a conundrum, quite a dilemma. You have only one day. You want to pick the most auspicious day. You want to pick the most important day. You don't want to go out stam, just any day. You want to make it count. So you have to start asking yourself this question: what's the most important day? What's the most important day? So Jewish people will say, you have a question even? It's Yom Kippur. So, the conversation goes like, with all due respect, I got one day on the outside. I'm not exactly prepared to spend it not eating. It's a little, it's cruel, You want to go out and you want to eat. You want to eat well. So, what's the best day? So he asked a wise man, what's the best and most important day on the Jewish calendar? And the wise man looked at him and smiled and said, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar is today. It's the holiest moment. The moment that you are about to enter is filled with the deepest sacredness that you have ever encountered, the potential for uncovering the most profound enlightenment and the geographic location that you're standing in right now. By the way, even though the question only encompassed time, but the response and the answer encompasses space as well. And where you are right now, the space that you are about to inhabit is also the most hallowed and sacred ground that you've ever tread upon in your life. And the mindfulness that you bring to this moment and to this place determines not the extent of that sacredness, because that's a given. The mindfulness that you bring to the moment and you bring to the place only influences your awareness of where you are, but not its fundamental nature. And so this is a huge axiom in Judaism that requires us to be grounded in the present and resist the urge and the temptation to wax nostalgic and to identify goodness, greatness, depth, sacredness, and holiness with the past, as it is so tempting to do. In the past, it was so much better. It was so much deeper. It was so much holier. Well, no one is arguing that the past was great. Or, alternatively, it's going to get better tomorrow. The sun will come out tomorrow, right? Not today. And then what happens tomorrow? The sun will come out tomorrow. Every day is merely an opportunity to postpone the power of now. And I think the opening words of this week's portion encompass that principle in the most beautiful way. The Jewish people are told, Re'eya anochi nosen lifnechem hayom, bracha u'klala. Today, I'm presenting to you hayom, today. And we are encouraged in the world of the mystics to live existentially, meaning to live in the present. And though we're reading a text that resonates with antiquity, it is a text that is, depending on how we approach it, bubbling with life, with a dynamic energy that is relying on us to turn the ignition, to turn on the energy in the text. And when we do that, it's a text that speaks to us right now with clarity, with relevance, with life. And so the text and the ultimatum that's being issued in this week's portion is an ultimatum that is not just being delivered to the Jewish people in the wilderness, or to your Bubby and Zadie, or to someone else, somewhere else, some other time. It's an ultimatum and a challenge that is being addressed to you and I and anyone else who's willing to accept the challenge. You know, the ice bucket challenge. This portion should go viral. And the question is, we wake up every single morning. God speaks to each and every one of us. Moses channels this information and this opportunity to every one of us. And the latent energy of that flows in this week in a most energetic way. And if we can open ourselves up to it, we hear a challenge. The gauntlet is being thrown down. Today, the Rebbe shares in a mimer, Anochi, is the depth of the essence of God's energy that is low-hanging fruit, that is fuel. It fuels us. If we want to fill up on that, it's there for the taking. The highest forces, spiritual forces of Anochi, the very same Anochi that gave us the 10 Commandments, is the Anochi that is standing ready to help us help ourselves, help us adrenalize our lives.
In this moment.
In this moment. Hayom.
In this moment.
Right now. Right here. And the question is not whether the opportunity is there. The question is merely whether we're going to take it. And that's at the heart of the notion of choice. And I'll conclude with this question that I was thinking about, that really, if you look at it maybe a different way, this sentence, it makes more sense. It says, "Behold, I place before you today the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you're supposed to choose." But almost as in a subtext, in parentheses, we hear God like maybe whispering to us or winking to us and saying, "But choose what I want you to choose. Ubacharta b'chayim." Choose the right. Now, let's be honest. What kind of choice is that? Imagine your boss says to you, "I'm giving you a couple of different options here, but I like this one the best." Right. What are you going to do? It depends who your boss is, and it depends who you are. So there's a lot of variables there.
Keep your job. Yeah,
you want to keep your job, right? So God says you should choose the option that will extend your life. It's like, sure, just tell me what that is, and there's my choice. So it's a choice seen this way. It's a choice that's not really a choice. I'm choosing to see those two words, uvacharta b'chayim, and to read it maybe in an alternative way. It's not saying, and you should choose the right way. It's just saying, uvacharta. You should choose. Because choosing is a symptom of your life flow. It's the metrics, it's the barometer that tells us whether you are merely alive or truly living. The act of choosing proactively in your life, regardless of the choice, could be the wrong choice. Who knows? We don't always know what the right choice is. But choose something. You want to know if a person is b'chayim, if it's a person who's actively and purposefully moving through his life, not as a spectator, but as an active, dynamic participant. I'm choosing. I think this option is the right option for me. It may be the wrong option, but not choosing is, in a way, a choice and a bad choice. Or letting someone else choose for us is a choice not to choose. And so, ubacharta b'chayim simply means that we have tapped into the Anochi, the highest life force of Ein Sof that is available to us, by finding the guts to make choices, to believe that what we do matters. To even make a choice requires a faithfulness that goes back to that fellow in the prison, that where you are right now, even though it's not where you thought you would be 5 years ago, it's not where you thought you deserved to be, or where you wanted to be, and the way your life looks right now is radically different than the way you imagined it. So it's very tempting to step out and say, just let it go. I'm just coming along for the ride. That's not a recipe or a formula to tap into that powerful life force of Anochi. If we want that, and by having that, Kabbalah teaches we are truly chayim, we are alive, whether we make the right or wrong choices. If we are in a bacharta place, if we're choosing, if we're in the game. So this week's portion is an active recruitment to step up to our lives with gusto, with passion, and choose to live. Choose to be active in our own lives. Choose to believe that we can be the most imaginative architects of our own spiritual destiny. Truly embrace that and give ourselves back whatever power has been taken from us. Give ourselves back the right to embrace the highest, most authentic edition of ourselves, the one that is resonating with the divine Anochi, not with the Anochi, the I, that we are led to believe is the best I for us, but the Anochi that we know inside of ourselves intuitively is the right I for us. And we have to make a conscious choice to be in the driver's seat of our own lives. And what this means is that we are going to have to make choices. And we won't always be 100% sure. And we won't always choose right. But we will be alive. So let's get out there and shake it up. Yom Tov.
Yom Tov.